If you spend a good chunk of your day glued to a screen, what you really want isn't a chair with a laundry list of specs. It's something that lets you stay focused without constantly readjusting, that feels solid enough to trust day after day, and that doesn't make you wonder whether you just threw a few $100s at a piece of furniture you'll regret. The fear of buying the wrong office chair is real. You end up with sore shoulders, a wobbling seat, or a mess of hidden costs when the warranty doesn't cover the problem you actually care about. That's why I'm taking a step back from the hype and looking at the Humanscale Freedom Chair from the point of view of everyday work life. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the kind of setup most people have at home or in a small office. You've got a desk, maybe a laptop or a dual monitor rig, and a floor that's usually carpeted because it's easier on the feet. You need a chair that can roll smoothly across that carpet, stay stable when you lean back, and let you move without a lot of noise. The Freedom's standard hard casters are designed for carpet, so you won't hear a squeal every time you shift. In my own testing, the wheels glide just enough to feel effortless but not so much that the chair slides out from under you when you stand up quickly. That's a practical win for anyone who hates the stuck-in-place feeling of some office chairs with soft rubber wheels that tend to dig in. What sets this chair apart is the responsive backrest. Unlike a traditional tilt-lock mechanism where you have to manually set the angle, the Freedom's back pivots on its own as you shift weight. Imagine you're in the middle of a long video call and you naturally lean back to stretch. The chair follows, keeping your eyes at roughly the same level without you having to fiddle with a lever. That automatic recline action helps maintain a more consistent posture, which is a subtle but genuine benefit for people who spend 8+ hours seated. It's not a gimmick, it's a design choice that reduces the micro-adjustments you'd otherwise make every 10 minutes. The contoured cushions also deserve a closer look. They're molded to follow the shape of your body, rather than being a flat pad that you have to break in. For someone who moves around a lot, say you have a standing desk and you sit down, stand up, and repeat several times a day, the cushion adapts each time you settle back, providing a snug yet not restrictive feel. Users who have broader hips or a longer torso often complain that standard office chairs feel too narrow. The Freedom's seat width and depth are generous enough that most body types sit comfortably without feeling squeezed. Now, who should actually consider buying this chair? If you're a remote professional who logs at least 6 to 7 hours at a desk, especially if you have a history of lower back or neck tension, the Freedom's adaptive back and ergonomic armrests can be a game changer. The standard height-adjustable Duron arms move up and down with ease, letting you align your elbows with your desk height without a lot of trial and error. The arms also have a slight pivot that lets you get closer to the desk when you need to write or use a mouse, then swing out when you're typing. That flexibility is something you'll notice in real work, not just in a showroom. On the flip side, there are a few scenarios where you might want to skip this chair. The price point is higher than entry-level models, so if you're on a tight budget or only need a seat for a few hours a week, you might be better off with a simpler design. The chair's weight is also notable. It's built solidly, which is great for durability, but it means moving it around the room takes a bit of effort. If you frequently rearrange your workspace, the Freedom isn't the most convenient to lift. Another practical consideration is flooring. While the hard casters work well on carpet, they can be a little rough on hardwood or laminate. You'd need a rug or a protective mat, adding a small extra cost. A common question I get is whether the Freedom offers enough lumbar support. The answer is a bit nuanced. The backrest's automatic pivot does a decent job of hugging the natural curve of your spine, but there isn't a separate lumbar knob to fine-tune the depth. If you rely on a very specific lumbar adjustment, you might feel the need to add a small cushion. For most users, though, the built-in contour and the way the back follows you is enough to keep the lower back from collapsing into a slump. Let's talk durability and aesthetics for a moment, because they're part of the real-world decision. The graphite frame is matte and understated, and the medium gray Corde 4.